We got coronavirus. Here's what it was like.
She told me put my heart in the bag, and nobody gets hurt. No.
Just kidding, it actually wasn't that bad. I'll get to our exact symptoms here in a minute, but for now, let me explain how we got it. It all started 2 Fridays ago when my friends and I went downtown for our friend Guille's birthday. One friend, Nick, wasn't feeling the best and wasn't sure if he should go, but naturally we didn't want him to miss out and insisted he go. The next day we didn't feel great, but we were also hungover, so we didn't get too alarmed just yet. Then the next day we started feeling a bit sick and also started hearing that a bunch of people who work downtown started testing positive, so by this point we're a little worried. Then after a few days of feeling sick, we find out our friend Nick tested positive, so at this point we're quite certain we all got it. But he told us the county started calling him, telling him to disinfect everything he touches, not to leave the house and all this stuff, and we didn't want to be put on any sort of list for being tested positive for coronavirus, just in case that gives us any problems. After all, we really didn't feel that horrible anyway, which leads me into the symptoms. Now I just want to start by saying it seems like everyone reacts a little bit differently to the virus and no one really knows exactly why. It might have to do with the strain of the virus or with how young you are or how healthy you are or some other combination of factors, but basically what I'm trying to say is that our symptoms might not be the exact same as yours if you end up getting it. So here's a list of all my symptoms, pretty much in a rough order from the worst to the least worst. As you can see, the worst thing that I had was the muscle soreness, particularly in my lower back. I don't know exactly why this is, but it was seriously horrible. Like I was pretty much bedridden the whole time because if I sat here in my desk, it hurt too much. Other than that, everything else, the cough, the sore throat and everything wasn't too bad. And like the loss of taste, like I kind of still can't taste anything, but I hope that that comes back sooner or later. And I was sleeping a lot, like 9-10 hours a day. And then of course I just had that kind of general foggy, sick feeling. All in all, with the medicine and everything, it wasn't too bad. I'll get more into our cures and our remedies and all that here in a minute. But for now, let's see how everyone else felt. So hey guys, who's going first?
Nicholas or Shan? No. I can talk first and introduce him since it's the first one. So this gentleman over here came here to our house and kind of gave us this kind of virus, kind of cool. And so there you go.
Tell him your symptoms.
Yes, so apparently 2 days after I saw him and he was feeling bad, our whole house, plus my girl, started feeling absolutely horrible, which means he tested positive on coronavirus. I have not. You did? I have not.
So for people who are wondering what the symptoms are, the point of the video, it's kind of, you get a fever at first, probably like a day and a half, but it's not like a fever I've had before. I've had flu fevers that were much worse. It was more confusing, it wasn't as bad. Like the chills were bad, but the headache wasn't terrible. Like when you get up to like get something, you're kind of like extra confused more than normal.
Actually, I've seen somewhere it's called new confusion.
Yeah, new confusion. A lot of new confusion. The fever went away, and then ended up getting some body ache, a little bit of chest pain when you get like deep breaths, and I think that's where the older crowd or people with pre-existing medical conditions, that's where they would have a lot of problems with the breathing. And then after that, I was probably, from the start of my fever to the end of the body ache / chest pain, for me it was probably like 5-6 days, and I've felt 100% since. So not to undermine it at all.
It's a different.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, how are your symptoms and how are Christina's?
So to be honest, mine were actually the mildest out of everybody. I didn't really have a fever. I did a little bit. Felt a little weird, kind of like tired. Muscle pain, bones pain, that's something that's never happened to me. That was kind of like off. So I can imagine that I basically had the virus for sure. And then Christina's were actually pretty bad. She had a fever all the way up to 102, 103. So that was pretty high. And she's been feeling bad. As of today, she still doesn't have a taste. So
I never got that. I never got the lack of taste. Like, I wasn't eating, like I wasn't hungry at all. But I don't know. Was it really like, was it like when you have a cold and your nose is stuffy and like you can't smell anything, so then you can't taste anything? Or was it literally just you can breathe just fine, you just couldn't taste nothing?
For me, I can taste everything.
She couldn't. Yeah.
Like Christina, as of today, she can taste anything at all.
Was anything different for you, Mike? Your body aches were pretty bad, right?
Yeah, muscle soreness in the back is the worst for sure.
Yeah, basically, guys, if you have coronavirus, you're gonna feel like pretty old, you know? You have like, your muscles hurt, the typical conversation is like, oh, how are your muscles, how are you feeling? I mean, can you walk, dude? Can you exercise? Nah, not yet. That's kind of the deal. So you basically put on like another like 20, 30 years if you're in your 20s, and it's not much else.
Yeah.
Where is Mr. Evans?
This is like an old man's perspective. So.
You know what's so funny is he's 2 years younger and he's like,
So, how are your symptoms?
they're good. It took about a week to get over it.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't bad. I felt like last year's flu or two flus ago was bad enough I thought I was gonna die. That's when I was young. That was when I was 24.
What was that, what'd you say, that relative, that young rower or whatever?
Oh yeah, it'd be my aunt's goddaughter. I don't know how that's connected, but I guess she was a rower for college, and she had to go to the hospital for, I don't know how long she was in there, but sick for 6 weeks, and now they have her on a heart monitor because it affected her heart and her blood and stuff.
Gotta be careful. Oh, and in case you were wondering, it doesn't seem like cats can get it. We've all been sick, and we're still snuggling with our little friend Bodhi here more than ever, and he's been just fine. So while obviously there's no cure, no vaccine, nothing like that for coronavirus just yet, there are of course little things that you can do that may or may not help you. So these are the things that I think helped us at least a little bit. First off is vitamin C. Now of course this goes for pretty much any time you're sick. Vitamin C is supposed to help boost your immune system, which will help you fight off whatever it is that you're fighting faster than usual. Next is NyQuil and DayQuil. Unlike vitamin C, these are more just to help your symptoms so that you don't feel as sick, but we really needed that. As I said, with my lower back pain, this stuff helped a lot. Now, if you're gonna use a painkiller other than DayQuil or NyQuil, definitely choose Tylenol and not these other ones like Aleve, Aspirin, and Advil, because Tylenol is an acetaminophen or whatever, which is the same stuff that's in the DayQuil and NyQuil, whereas all those other ones are NSAIDs. And the FDA has said that there's been scientific hypotheses and whatnot saying that NSAID pain relievers might actually make COVID symptoms worse. But there is no scientific study to prove that just yet, so that may or may not be true. And the last thing that we used was Zicam, which I had actually never even heard of before this, but our roommate Rowdy brought it back, and it's just this little thing where you break it open and then it looks kind of like a cotton swab and you just kind of rub it in the inside of your nose. That one says that it's a cold remedy, which since the cold is also a virus, we just kind of assumed that maybe that would help with this as well. We used it a couple times, don't know if it helped, but just figured I'd say that. So everyone gets different symptoms, and luckily we didn't get it too bad for the most part. The scariest part though is the thought that maybe we'll give it to someone who won't have it so easy. So to put it in simpler terms, I don't really care that I got coronavirus, I just care that me getting coronavirus made it so that I couldn't see my dad on Father's Day, which also happened to be his birthday. All in all, despite what anyone else might tell you, the virus is real and you really should be careful not to get it and not spread it. Wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, practice social distancing, and get tested even if you don't have any symptoms. I know plenty of stories of people who ended up getting tested just because maybe a job required it or something. They never felt sick, but then they actually tested positive. Because the last thing you'd want is to find out that you gave the virus to someone who ended up dying from it. Anyway, as you can tell, we're all pretty much over the virus. We all feel pretty good, about 95% or so by now, so there's no need to worry about us, and we had it just fine. But as I said, everyone else can experience it differently, so I hope that this video kind of showed you a little bit what it was like to have it, but at the same time, expect possibly different results. With that being said, if you found this video helpful at all, please go ahead and like it, share it, do whatever you gotta do, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.